let's see. From somebody by the name of Justin, no last name, directed to Mr. Cole. 4 years ago, your biggest donors were Democrats and Democrat-led PACs. Since you were funded by Democrats in the past, can you talk about how we can trust that you represent conservative values, Mr. Cole?
I don't know what they're talking about. 4 years ago, my biggest donors were not Democrats. Frankly, look at my financial statement that came out 2 days ago. You can see who my donors are. Frankly, I haven't taken checks from any PACs. I haven't taken checks from any, you name it. But there might have been candidates up here that have. You can check it out for yourself. Thanks.
Good. Thank you. And from Deidre to
I'd like to
Jeff
Leach.
Leach.
His question, to his response.
Well, I think that would be
Is that okay?
fair. Sure.
4 years ago, you took $60,000 from gambling. You took money from Dr. David Oliver. You took money from Ted Pack. You took $60,000. Almost half of your money came from a special interest group that wants to legalize gambling in Texas. So why don't you check your own COH from 4 years ago?
Okay.
Frankly, my money came from one of the most prolific Republican donors at the time there was. And, my other money, I'm against the expansion of gambling in any form or fashion. Period. End of story.
Okay. So, thank you, Mr. Cole. One from Deidre Dennis directed at Jeff Leach. If I can read this. Will you vote for the strongest E-Verify? Will you vote for the strongest E-Verify legislation that applies to all Texas businesses to use E-Verify on all employees, even retroactively? And will you support employer sanctions for those that hire illegals? Mr. Leach.
Do I need the mic?
Yes, you will. I'm running around with it once again.
This is going to be a 10-second answer.
I've actually already addressed both of those issues. Yes, I would support the strongest E-Verify program. Yes, I think it should be retroactive. Our laws need to be enforced. That's the only way we're going to get rid of illegal immigration if the states can enforce our laws. So yes, you have my commitment. If it comes up, I'll vote for E-Verify.
I too will vote for E-Verify. Obama promised us with $1 trillion that he would have 20 million shovel-ready jobs. We have 20 million shovel-ready jobs today. Shovels are held by people who are here illegally.
Let me say one more thing real quick. There's this argument that the Texas, look, I practice construction law, and I represent contractors, and somehow there's this argument that the Texas construction industry will plummet if we send illegal immigrants out of the state. I'm telling you that's not the case. And I would propose a bill that would require that prisoners, the thousands and thousands of prisoners that are sitting, soaking our tax dollars, sitting in a prison, watching TV, eating our food, should be required to work, whether it's on highways or on railroads or
Mr. Burns has a comment.
Yeah, just a comment. Our company uses E-Verify. We've had it for 3 years, and it's very simple. While I'm not in favor of a lot of mandates, and some legitimately should not be imposed on firms smaller than 50 or smaller than 15, E-Verify is so easy that it should be done by everyone. And I am totally in favor of E-Verify.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. The person who wrote this didn't really aim it at somebody, so I will, and I'm going to aim it at Ms. Simpson. How much will it cost to fund the statewide water plan, and what programs do you think should be eliminated in order to fund it? Is that a fair question for you?
That's
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It's a
Yes.
very tough question. The statewide water plan is a huge challenge. We've worked on that. I've helped write the Trinity groundwater rules. Water is a huge, huge problem in this state. But that has to do with the Railroad Commission going hand in glove with what we do, because they're the ones that have a get out of jail free card. They don't have have to tell us what they extract. I am all for exploration, but if we're going to manage it, everybody needs to be managed together, not exclusively letting the oil and gas companies out. And I'm not focusing on them because I'm 100% for development in this state. We have great resources here. But to fund a water system, again, you've got to stop the duplicity in all of the administration across these water districts. It's got to stop. Nobody comes in, and in large corporations, you see redundancy. We don't need it in the state. It's not necessary. We have smart people at the top. Don't make it redundant, and that should be enough to fund what we need to get started.
Anybody else have a comment in that regard? One other person did not direct this to anybody in particular, so I'm going to direct it to Mr. Cole. In your opinion, where can money be saved in the public safety budget? Must be a cop that asked that question.
There's a ton of money that can be saved in every aspect of the budget. Frankly, in public safety, we're sending a lot of criminals back onto the street. We've made it almost impossible to send felons that have reconvicted back to prison. And Republicans have done that. If we're going to save money, we got to make sure there are three legs to the stool and we enforce all levels. Number one, prevention, making sure it doesn't happen to begin with. Number two, enforcement. Number three, rehabilitation for only those that can afford it. But right now, we're sending a lot of people back. If you talk to anyone that's hanging out in the prosecutor's office or in court today, it's become a whole lot harder to send those that actually commit crimes back out. And, frankly, if we don't get a handle on this, it's going to be a whole big problem for us. Number two is we have to be efficient. My background is drug policy, busting these drug cartels that come up from Mexico into Dallas, Houston, you name it. I run Drug Free America Foundation as volunteer coordinator in the state, and frankly, our task forces have been spending money willy-nilly. In Dallas, we spent more than every city in the state combined. We've got zero results because we weren't targeting the cartels. We were targeting the lower-level drug dealers. If we don't do something, it's going to keep on growing, and the problem's already too big.
Do we have any further comments? Dr. Pitchford?
First of all, I want to save money. We need to start building prisons in a sane fashion. Right now, it costs $1 million for each cell of one prisoner in a prison. We need to house our prisoners in the same conditions as humanely as our soldiers in the field have. If soldiers in Iraq can live in a tent when it's 120 degrees, I don't see why prisoners can't live in a tent under the same circumstances. We ask this of our soldiers. We can ask this of convicted criminals.
We have another undirected question, so I'm going to direct it at Mr. Leach. Mr. Leach, school districts like PISD, Louisville, Lake Highlands are suing the state of Texas that the school financing is unconstitutional, that rich districts pay too much. Have you considered this issue, and what would you say is the solution to school financing?
Well, I'd start off with repealing Robin Hood. Robin Hood is a terrible law. It's taking, here's what Robin Hood does. Here's what's wrong with our state education system. Plano just now joined a group of 3 with Austin and Highland Park as part of the $1 billion fund. That's $1 billion of our property taxes that are not going to our own kids' education. That's a problem. And I think we can all agree that that's got to be stopped. And here's the problem with that, just theoretically, that it takes great school districts like Plano and Allen and Highland Park and Richardson and Austin, and it brings them down, and it brings the lower school districts up, and it establishes this general level of mediocrity in our public education system. And that's a problem. I care about the students in those poorer school districts, but through private enterprise, through offering tax incentives and tax benefits for corporations who want to pump money into those school districts, we can do a better job at educating our kids and paying for it without going into debt and without ruining our state education system by doing it via the private enterprise instead of this terrible Robin Hood program.
Okay, David, do we have anybody else to comment to this issue?
8:28.
State 28. Andy, should we take one more question? One more. How about a rule of law question for Dr. Pitchford? Okay, it's here in the back, if you want to turn around and have a look. Congress is unlikely to vote term limits for themselves should the Texas legislature vote for a constitutional convention to institute term limits. If so, are there any other issues that should be decided at a constitutional convention? What are they and what are the risks? It's a big question.
Good question. One of the things is we are constantly amending the Constitution. Just this past November, we had an opportunity to vote on many constitutional questions. We have a process for amending the Texas Constitution. As to term limits, that's up to you. You can decide when somebody's been there too long. You can look at people's financial records. It's easy to do. You go to the Texas Ethics Commission. You type in the person's name. You can look and see where their money comes from. You want to know when your legislature has been there too long, you need to start looking at the ones that accumulated 6-digit war chest. They've been there too long. Vote for someone else.
Thank you, Dr. Pittsburgh.